Ladies and gentlemen, comfort is a beautiful lie. It feels safe, warm, predictable, and that's exactly why it is so dangerous. Right now, millions of people are choosing comfort over growth, easy over necessary, entertainment over education, sleep over sacrifice. And every single time you choose comfort, you are voting against the future you dream about. You say you want success, freedom, respect, impact, but your daily actions say you want convenience. You can't build an extraordinary life with ordinary habits. The world doesn't reward comfort, it rewards courage. The people you admire, the ones winning in business, sports, art, life, they didn't get there by playing it safe. They got there by doing what was uncomfortable again and again until it became their new normal. Comfort whispers, you can start tomorrow. Winners know tomorrow is a myth. Tomorrow becomes next week, next year, and suddenly 10 years are gone. Urgency is your greatest weapon. You don't have unlimited time. Nobody does. Every day you delay is a day someone else is outworking you, outlearning you, outgrowing you. Let's be honest. The reason most people stay comfortable isn't laziness, it's fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failing publicly, fear of not being good enough in the beginning. But here's the truth, being bad at something is the price of becoming great at something. Nobody starts as a master. The only real failure is quitting before the process shapes you. Comfort zone feels safe because it protects you from uncertainty, embarrassment, and failure. But that same protection is what quietly destroys your potential. When you stay where things are easy and familiar, you stop exposing yourself to the challenges that force you to grow. Human beings are designed to adapt. When life is hard, you become stronger, smarter, and more creative. When life is too easy for too long, your skills weaken, your ambition fades, and your confidence becomes fragile. The comfort zone convinces you that maintaining the status quo is enough, even when deep inside you know you are capable of more. It replaces progress with routine and purpose with distraction. You start choosing short-term pleasure over long-term achievement, watching instead of learning, planning instead of doing, dreaming instead of building. Growth always demands discomfort because every new level requires a version of you that does not exist yet. To earn that version, you must do things that feel awkward, risky, and inconvenient. Whether it is speaking up, starting something new, learning a difficult skill, or taking responsibility, the process will challenge your identity. Most people retreat the moment it feels uncomfortable, and that is exactly why most people remain average. The comfort zone also distorts time. It makes you believe there is no rush, that you can change later, that opportunities will wait. Meanwhile, days turn into years, and the gap between where you are and where you could have been grows wider. Another hidden danger is that comfort slowly lowers your standards. What once felt like settling begins to feel normal. You stop competing with your potential and start comparing yourself only to what is easy to maintain. This is how big dreams quietly shrink into manageable expectations. The tragedy is not failure. The real tragedy is unused ability. Nothing kills confidence more than knowing you are capable of more, but repeatedly choosing less because it is easier. Stepping outside the comfort zone does not mean reckless action. It means deliberate exposure to difficulty that builds strength. Each time you do something uncomfortable, you expand what feels possible. What once scared you becomes routine, and new doors open that were invisible before. Confidence is not built by thinking positive thoughts, but by collecting proof that you can handle hard things. The life you want exists beyond the boundaries of what feels convenient today, and the longer you stay inside those boundaries, the harder it becomes to leave. Fear of failure is one of the most powerful forces that keeps people trapped in lives far below their potential. It convinces you that making a mistake will define you, that losing once means you are a loser, that being judged is worse than never trying at all. So instead of taking action, you wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect confidence, things that never truly arrive. You begin to build a life around avoidance, choosing paths where the risk is low but the rewards are also small. This is how people end up stuck in routines that feel secure on the surface but empty underneath. The fear itself is not really about failure, it is about identity. People worry that if they try and fall short, it will prove they are not talented, not smart, not capable. To protect their ego, they choose inaction, because if you never try, you never have to confront that possibility. But avoiding failure also means avoiding growth, because every skill, every achievement, every success story is built on a foundation of attempts that did not work. The people who appear confident are not those who never failed. They are the ones who stopped giving failure the power to define them. Fear also magnifies the opinions of others. You imagine criticism, embarrassment, and rejection as unbearable outcomes, when in reality, most people are too focused on their own lives to care for long. Even when judgment happens, it fades quickly, but the regret of not trying can last for decades. Regret is heavier than failure because failure teaches, while regret only reminds you of what could have been. When you fail, you gain information, experience, resilience, and clarity. When you avoid trying, you gain nothing except temporary comfort. Another way fear keeps people average is by making them underestimate their ability to recover. Humans are incredibly adaptable. What feels like a devastating setback today often becomes a turning point later. Many opportunities only appear after something goes wrong, because failure forces you to rethink, redirect, and reinvent. If you remove the possibility of failure, you also remove the possibility of unexpected breakthroughs. Overcoming fear of failure does not mean eliminating fear. It means acting despite it. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision that something else matters more. Each time you take a risk and survive, your tolerance for discomfort increases and fear loses some of its control. You begin to see failure as feedback rather than a verdict. The path out of an average life is not a guarantee of success, but a willingness to face uncertainty repeatedly until your capabilities expand to match your ambitions. Pain, risk, and sacrifice are not obstacles on the path to success. They are the path itself. Every meaningful achievement demands a price, and that price is usually paid in discomfort long before any reward appears. People often admire the results, the recognition, the freedom, the confidence, but they overlook the years of struggle, rejection, long hours, and difficult choices that made those results possible. Success requires giving up what is easy now for what is valuable later. It may mean sacrificing entertainment for education, sleep for preparation, or temporary security for long-term opportunity. Pain is often the signal that growth is happening. When you push your limits, whether mentally, physically, or emotionally, it feels uncomfortable because you are forcing yourself beyond what is familiar. This kind of pain is not destructive, it is transformative. It builds resilience, patience, and strength. Without it, your capacity never expands. People who avoid pain also avoid progress, choosing short-term comfort while unknowingly extending long-term struggle. The irony is that refusing disciplined pain today often leads to regret and hardship tomorrow. Risk is equally necessary because nothing extraordinary is guaranteed. Playing safe may protect you from loss, but it also limits your potential gains. Every major decision, starting something new, changing direction, believing in an uncertain opportunity, carries the possibility of failure. Risk forces you to trust your preparation, your instincts, and your ability to adapt if things do not go as planned. It transforms passive wishing into active pursuit. Those who achieve more are not always more talented. They are often more willing to bet on themselves when outcomes are unclear. Sacrifice ties everything together because time and energy are limited resources. Choosing one path automatically means giving up another. To move forward, you must decide what matters most and let go of distractions that dilute your focus. Sacrifice might mean fewer social comforts, fewer idle moments, and fewer excuses. It demands discipline when motivation disappears and commitment when results are slow. Many people want the reward without surrendering the habits that hold them back. But life does not work that way. What you consistently give your time to becomes your future. Enduring pain, taking risks, and making sacrifices reshape your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who can handle difficulty, someone who acts instead of hesitates, someone who prioritizes purpose over convenience. Over time, what once felt extreme becomes normal, and the person you become is capable of things that once seemed impossible. The price of success is always paid up front, in effort and uncertainty, long before the benefits are visible. Urgency is the force that turns intentions into action because it confronts you with a simple truth: time is limited and constantly moving. Without a sense of urgency, even the biggest dreams remain distant ideas that you believe you will pursue someday. People often act as if life has an unlimited supply of tomorrows, postponing important decisions, delaying difficult work, and assuming there will always be another chance. This illusion creates a dangerous comfort where nothing feels necessary to do today. Meanwhile, opportunities pass, energy declines, and responsibilities grow, making the path forward harder with each delay. A strong sense of urgency does not come from panic, but from awareness. When you truly understand that each day is a non-renewable resource, your priorities become clearer. You stop wasting time on distractions that add no value and start focusing on actions that move your life forward. Urgency sharpens discipline because it forces you to decide what actually matters. Instead of waiting for motivation, you build systems and habits that ensure progress even when you do not feel inspired. You become proactive rather than reactive, creating momentum instead of constantly trying to catch up. Urgency also separates those who talk from those who execute. Many people enjoy planning, discussing, and imagining success, but few are willing to move immediately when an idea appears. Acting quickly does not mean being careless. It means refusing to let fear and overthinking steal your chances. The world changes fast, and hesitation often costs more than mistakes. By the time you feel fully ready, the opportunity may belong to someone else who decided to start before they had everything figured out. Another powerful effect of urgency is that it reveals hidden potential. When you give yourself less time to make progress, you become more resourceful and focused. Deadlines push you to learn faster, decide faster, and adapt faster. They remove the luxury of procrastination and force creativity under pressure. Many breakthroughs happen not because conditions were perfect, but because action became unavoidable. Living with urgency also changes how you view failure. When time feels valuable, you are less afraid of mistakes because you know inaction is the greater loss. You begin to measure success by effort and learning rather than immediate results. Each day becomes a chance to build momentum, and small, consistent actions accumulate into significant change over time. Urgency is not about rushing through life, but about respecting it. It reminds you that the future you imagine is being shaped by what you do now, not by what you promise yourself you will do later. When you treat today as important, you naturally start building a life that reflects intention instead of delay. Discipline is the ability to act according to your goals rather than your feelings, and that is why it consistently outperforms motivation. Motivation is emotional and temporary. It rises when you feel inspired and disappears when things become difficult, boring, or inconvenient. If you rely on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent because your emotions are inconsistent. Discipline, on the other hand, creates stability. It allows you to continue working, learning, and improving even on the days when you feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. It transforms success from a matter of mood into a matter of habit. Most people wait to feel ready before they begin, but disciplined people begin regardless of how they feel. They understand that action often creates motivation, not the other way around. When you show up repeatedly, you build momentum, and momentum fuels confidence. This is why small daily actions are so powerful. They may not look impressive in the moment, but over time they compound into results that appear extraordinary to others. Discipline focuses on consistency instead of intensity, knowing that steady effort beats occasional bursts of enthusiasm followed by long periods of inactivity. Discipline also builds trust with yourself. Every time you keep a promise you made to yourself, waking up on time, completing a task, practicing a skill, you strengthen your self-respect. That self-respect becomes a foundation for confidence because you no longer depend on external validation. You know from experience that you can rely on your own commitment. Without discipline, goals remain wishes because there is no mechanism to turn intention into reality. Another important aspect is that discipline reduces decision fatigue. When certain behaviors become automatic, you no longer waste mental energy debating whether to act. You simply follow the routine you have established. This frees your mind to focus on improvement instead of negotiation with your comfort zone. It also protects you from distractions because your priorities are already decided in advance. Discipline does not eliminate difficulty. It makes you stronger than difficulty. It prepares you to handle pressure, setbacks, and slow progress without losing direction. Over time, the disciplined version of you becomes someone who finishes what they start, someone who keeps moving when others stop, someone who values long-term rewards more than short-term relief. This is why discipline is often the hidden difference between people with similar talent and opportunities. When discipline becomes part of your identity, you no longer see hard work as punishment, but as investment. You stop asking whether you feel like doing something and start asking whether it moves you closer to the life you want. In that shift, consistency replaces hesitation, and progress becomes inevitable rather than occasional. Your future is not decided by your dreams, but by your daily choices. Comfort will keep you safe, but it will also keep you small. If you truly want more from life, you must be willing to face discomfort, act despite fear, sacrifice what is easy, move with urgency, and stay disciplined when excitement fades. The life you want is not far away. It is hidden behind the actions you have been avoiding. Choose growth over comfort, and your future will change. Thank you.